What's up, everybody? Welcome in to another edition of Bets and Ball Games with Edwards and Greeson. We are recording at about 10 after 1 on Wednesday. We're brought to you by FanDuel. And let's talk about our friends at GameTime SIDEKICKS, officially licensed stainless steel drinkware, all SEC schools, plus over 350 more universities. Everything from stainless steel sippy cups, tumblers, and 40-ounce plus bottles and shaker cups. SE16 for the 20% discount to viewers. What's up, Jay? How we doing?
Great. Had a super fun time at a travel softball tournament here in Chattanooga over the weekend. Coaching my 15U girls, and they really played their ponytails off.
Nice. A lot of strikeouts for the young Greeson?
Yeah, she pitched well.
Good.
Well, hey, here's the thing. This is when you know your kid shows out, if I can have a proud daddy moment. We're taking the next couple of weeks off, and I've already had 4 different travel teams reach out to say if we're interested in picking up because Ray would get to pitch a lot.
And you've turned that down? Her arm needs rest?
Well,
Dad needs to watch football?
We turned down this weekend because there's a big one with the Georgia. Mama Greeson went to Georgia. We all know where I went, so Saturday night's going to be painful for me, but big for the household. And we're leaving on Sunday morning to go to St. Simon's next week for fall break.
Oh, there we go. All right. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And I will start. And my good is Dallas Wilson's collegiate debut. We've been talking about him on this show a lot. He was as advertised. I said he's got NFL size, NFL talent, NFL body, the whole shebang. And the only complaint I had in his 6 receptions, 111 yards, and 2 touchdown performance was that I put $20 on him at 19-1 to have the first touchdown of the game. He got 2 tutties, but not the first one that I could have cashed $380. That'd have been decent. But now with Dallas Wilson, we'll talk about this more when we get to Florida A&M. Florida's offense is a whole different deal now. So good collegiate debut for him. Good win for the Gators.
Tremendous win for the Gators. And I will say this, and I know we'll get into a lot of the layers moving forward. I think the dichotomy between the way the Florida locker room, I know the Florida base is not happy with Billy Bob. I know my co-host is not happy with Billy Bob. But when guys are on the hot seat, think about how Arkansas's locker room quit on Sam Pittman and how every time Napier moves to the forefront of the hot seatdom, the Gators respond with inspired efforts. So his fan base may loathe him, but his players clearly are willing to put it on the line when he's in the crosshairs. My good is who your Gators are going to tangle with this weekend. A&M has, at home, been manhandling the folks they should. This is the second game in a row. They may have only beaten Auburn by 6 points, but they thoroughly dominated almost every stat category in that game. Come Saturday night when Mississippi State came in, Texas A&M outgained Mississippi State 479-219. Did you know it was that big of a discrepancy?
Yes, I did, but I mean, it was 7-3 fairly late in the third quarter. So I didn't feel like my Mississippi State bet was that bad. I mean, I felt pretty good about it at that point. But yeah, it got the fourth quarter they dominated, no question.
And those 2 wideouts are a problem.
Mario Craver and Concepcion, no relation to Davey, to my knowledge.
All right. We may could even say no relation to Brian Edwards, to our knowledge.
This is true. I mean, but my last name is not Concepcion. All right, bad. Okay. Late in the Florida game, around a minute 40-ish, I believe. Texas has no timeouts. The end of second down, Austin Barber's helmet comes off, which, he's got to come out of the game. The clock stops. I mean, I think it should just stop temporarily until he's out of the game and the next guy gets to the huddle or what have you. But whatever the case, what happened was Florida has – okay, so when it happens less than 2 minutes left, I guess. So my bad is going to be this rule. This rule is moronic. So when the helmet comes off, clock stops. And by the way, that happened on the next drive for Texas with Manning. Whoever his backup came in and threw that dime, I would have kept him in the game. But anyhow, back to Barber. So his helmet comes off. So the clock stops. So the only way that Napier can get him back in the game for it's going to be 3rd and 3 is to call a timeout. Now, Texas has the option of a 10-second runoff, which they declined, obviously, because they have no timeouts. So Florida got hosed out of 40 seconds that they could have spent, and we don't know how the helmet came off. I mean, maybe Texas's guys were hands in his face. That's why the helmet – I mean, when somebody's helmet comes off, it's not like they take it off. This is a horrible rule. And if Texas would have won that game with less than 40 seconds remaining, that or come back and tied it, that would have been criminal. Yeah, I see your facial reaction there at the end there. I didn't see it to the end.
It tells everybody how good of a weekend you must have had with Budweiser's and Florida winning, and if that's your bad. And it's a limited schedule.
It's a limited schedule.
My bad is a candidate for bad beat all-timedom for us gamblers, with Jam Miller running 20 yards with 17 seconds left to take Alabama to a 16-point win as a 11, 12-point favorite, depending on where you got it, and stun us, the Diego Pavia fan club, co-chaired by Brian Edwards and Jay Greeson.
And there were so many other plays in that game where that shouldn't have even mattered. I mean, their field goal kicker, I believe his name's Brock Taylor. Let me correct that.
That's a great nickname. That's a great name for a Vandy kicker who's going to eventually be somebody I want to manage my retirement. Hey, what does Brock Taylor say?
No.
He says buy blue chips.
He might be in the NFL, man. He's made like 16 field goals in a row. So Pavia, well, first of all, when he fumbled, which was very close, it was the right call, but it was very close. It would have been 4th and 2. I don't know if Lee was going to go for it. Catching all the points, I would have wanted him to kick a field goal. So it would have been 4th and 2 or an automatic 3. And then the interception in the red zone, I forget what down that was. So that was at least a 3-point, that they left off. And then late in the first half, on a 4th and 7 and around midfield with only like 30 or 40 seconds left, Ty Simpson got a lot of pressure, and he did an awesome job of getting out of the pocket and then buying time, and then finally somebody broke open. I think it was Bernard, and then they end up scoring like 3 plays later. But yeah, I mean, bad beat. You're ahead of the number for 59 minutes and 43 seconds. 43 seconds. The only time I've been ahead of the number longer than that and lost, Northwestern and Ohio State. You remember that one, right?
I do remember that one too. And hey, this is a good point for my once a month reminder that major college programs and NFL programs need a Madden player in the headset, because Clark Lee should have kicked the field goal before that. He had to have 2 scores.
Oh, when they were down 23-14?
Yes.
Were you at softball?
Yes.
I think the interception by Pavia, did it come before it was 23-14?
Are you talking about did the fumble lead to – oh, never mind.
Yeah.
No, I got my play sequence mixed up. But my point still stands.
But hey, of course, yeah, no, Mike Norvell did a good job of that. He took a field goal to make it 28-22, which I didn't want him to. I knew it was. In fact, I tweeted it. I go, I hope Norvell's not thinking field goal here like he should be, because I had them plus 4.5 and wanted him to go for the touchdown.
But you can't get mad at making the right call.
No. I understand. No. Money Mike. Extend him. Extend Money Mike. Norvell. That is.
And maybe he'll hire Napier.
I got to make sure he doesn't get an extension.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Because
we're going to beat A&M this weekend, but we'll get to that in a minute.
We'll get to it in a minute, and I completely disagree.
Good. Go ahead. Is it your turn?
I just did. My bad. Bad beat.
Oh, yeah. Okay, the ugly. Why is that brick wall so close to Oklahoma's back of the end zone? I mean, the guy, he's going full speed. That's just injury situation that can be avoided, and that needs to be – let's see, when's their next home game? They play Ole Miss October 25th. That brick wall needs to be further back.
That was a scary scene, wasn't it?
Yeah, and no need for it.
My ugly, and I'm gonna take a minute here. All right, I know you do, Brian, but do you remember Ben Wallace, the Pistons?
Malice at the Palace, of course. Not to say that was all Ben's fault by any means, but
no. But all right, so Ben Wallace, in his Pistons career, was always viewed as underrated because he was on a team that didn't need him to score, and he was a defensive demon, and he was an unbelievable rebounder, even if he was undersized. Well, he left in free agency and went to the Cavs and signed a huge deal. And then almost immediately, because they paid him so much of their money, everybody viewed him as overrated because he couldn't score. He's still the same dude,
right?
But now the prism has changed.
Sure.
My ugly is the way the media has treated Arch Manning in the first 7 weeks of him being QB1 at Texas. You and I did not do this, but so many others put him on a pedestal of being, I mean, for God's sakes, Paul Feinbaum, who you might could say is up there with Herb Street in the national voice of the sport, said he's going to be the best he's the most anticipated and going to be the best quarterback since Tebow. And I mean, those are mind-blowing expectations to start your first season as a starter. Well, now the worm has completely turned to where The Athletic and the New York Times put this on social media, and this is just ugly. This was the post on social media. Many people are having a bad year in college football. True. Not true. But I agree with that. But Arch Manning is having one of the worst. The quarterback has gone from preseason Heisman Trophy favorite and projected number 1 NFL draft pick, and this one kills me, Brian, to a man synonymous with failure.
That's
insane. Look, friends, even if you have lived under a rock for the last half century, Arch Manning could never take another snap, and his life is going to be nothing but cartwheels and cocktails. I mean, let's not pretend like this man. There's nothing associated with failure with this man's life.
No.
And if we want to start really getting into football, he's completing 60% of his passes, which I know everybody would have wanted a little bit better for a guy who was the Heisman hopeful. But he's got 16 total touchdowns and only 5 picks through 5 games. I mean, it's not like this is – look, and if Texas wants to put its finger on the root of its issues, that offensive line is dreadful.
I concur. No doubt about it. All right, let's give you some FanDuel numbers before we get into our game-by-game breakdowns. The current odds to win the SEC. Alabama is the plus 200 or 2-1 chalk. A&M 6-1. Ole Miss plus 650. Georgia also plus 650. Oklahoma 7-1. Mizzou 11-1. Texas 13-1. LSU 20-1. Vols 25-1. Florida 35-1. Vandy 50-1. Auburn 100-1. Arkansas, South Carolina, and Mississippi State are 300-1. Our updated odds to win the Heisman. So Dante Moore, 5-1 chalk. Carson Beck, 6-1. Ty Simpson, the third shortest odds at plus 750. I'm going to start skipping non-SEC guys. Mateer at 10-1. Okay, still hasn't played since we made our case for 100-1. And he still hasn't played. I think we nailed it on the 100-1.
And it sounds like a lot of people jumped on that with both feet.
Perhaps, because it's certainly gone down. All right, Trinidad, my guy, Chambliss. Is he my second favorite non-Gator in the league right now? Perhaps. He's 16-1. Aguilar 22-1. Marcel Reed 27-1. Stockton 30-1. Prabula 33-1. Ahmad Hardy also 33-1. My guy Haynes King 40-1. Diego 40-1. Nuss 55-1. And Lenora Sellers 100-1. You know what? I think you make a decent case for Brendan Sorsby at 100-1. Maybe I'll do that toward the end of the show with some other picks. Ryan Williams 150-1. Taylor Green 150-1. Lagway 200-1. Arch 200-1. Jackson Arnold 300-1. And Kevin Concepcion, no relation to me, 400-1.
Hey, listen to those Heisman odds. On a quick tangent, in real-time money, considering where they started the season, which quarterback has cost himself the most cash? Nussmeier, Klubnik, Aller.
Yeah, I agree, because Arch has got plenty of time
Yes.
to make up everything, That all this September and the first game of October will all be forgotten.
And he can come back.
Oh, I think he is coming back.
Well, that's what his granddaddy said.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think he's definitely the way he's playing now, I think he's probably coming back. Yeah. And oh God, James Franklin. We could have a whole show about him right now. All right, and then before we get to our games, let me just mention who's in the mix for the Natty per FanDuel. Ohio State plus 440 chalk, next shortest. Oregon plus 550. Bama 7-1, Miami 9-1, Georgia 10-1, Oklahoma 15-1, A&M 16, Ole Miss 19. And I was not skipping over non-SEC teams there. That's all of them. Now I will skip over Indiana and Notre Dame now. So Texas 22-1, Mizzou 30, LSU 33, Tennessee 40, Vandy 80, Auburn 80, Florida 125.
Are you surprised, Brian, that Texas has shorter odds than Missouri? Is that a name type of value in the algorithm?
You look at the rest of Texas
because they both have doable schedules.
Wow, I like the look of the rest of Texas's schedule, except for at Georgia, but they have 2 weeks to prepare, and Georgia doesn't.
And I know we'll get to the game breakdown, but if you believe Missouri's going to prevail, and you can get that at like plus 130 over Alabama, I would almost look and see what to make the college football playoff line is, because if they win this week, they got a whole lot of wiggle room.
Yeah, so it doesn't look like they have the maybe it's under the NCAA futures.
Yes.
Where's the make the playoff? I'm not seeing it.
I'll find it.
All right. Let's head to Como. Noon. ABC. We have Alabama at Missouri. Alabama 4-1, both straight up and against the spread. Mizzou 5-0 straight up, 3-2 ATS as a. Oh wait, let me get to the line. Obviously, let's go. Sorry. Let's go top 25. All right, right now, FanDuel has Alabama minus 3.5 at a minus 104 price. Got to pay minus 118 juice if you take Mizzou. Plus 3.5. You have Bama minus 156 money line. Mizzou plus 132 money line. The total is 52 and half. In terms of the first half, we have Alabama minus 1.5, minus 102 price. First quarter, Bama minus 1.5 plus 132 return. And I might mention some props on the way out of this combo, but for now, Jay, your thoughts?
You and I, from the summer on, have talked about a couple of. Look, goodness knows I've been wrong about goodness knows how many things. We were both bullish on Missouri in the summer, and we were both over the top praise heavy on Ahmad Hardy. And both of those have proved out without question. Look, do you know what Kalen DeBoer's record career against ranked opponents is?
14-3?
17-3. The losses, one came at Oregon when he was at Fresno State.
I was about to say, I thought he went undefeated. When he was at Fresno State, changed it. Sorry.
One was last year as Alabama's coach.
Hold on, time out. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I remember that Jay Kane or Fresno State game. They had no business losing that game. They fumbled twice. They should have won that game.
They had no business being in that game, though. Fresno State against Oregon.
I know, Fresno State. Those fumbles killed them. They should have won that game. I'm sorry. Back to one of them was last year. I interrupted you. My bad.
One of them was last year when Alabama lost to 11th ranked Tennessee, and the other one was Washington
against the title game, Michigan.
Yes, against Michigan in the title game. He's 17-3 against ranked opponents.
Straight up.
Yes, but with a line this small, I feel good about those comps. Here's the thing: the criticisms about DeBoer being 5-5 at Alabama against unranked opponents is maybe about his methodology. Maybe it's about his syntax in pregame conversations. Maybe it's about his week preparation, the week-long preparation against teams that his kids feel like they should just show up and win. Those criticisms are fair. And they're magnified at a place like Alabama where you've got more talent than everybody else. But it is clear when his team goes big game hunting, they deliver. I think Alabama handles its business.
So when we were talking about the look-ahead lines, by the way, FanDuel does not have the look-ahead lines right now, but they had it last week, and at this time last week it was 6.5, and I was loving me some Mizzou at 6.5, and I think I said that I doubt we're going to end up being able to get that. Well, depending on how the Bama Vandy result obviously went. And I think this is the ideal spot for Mizzou. 2 weeks to prepare. Bama coming off of a Georgia game they're gunning for in a super duper revenge game against Vandy. With all that said, I think the value has been sucked out. I mean, I made Bama a 3-point favorite in this game. So with 3.5, I don't feel like I have an edge here. So what I am going to do is wait and hopefully in-game or halftime opportunity will present itself. And if I can get Missouri at a better number, like a 6 or a 7, certainly anything north of 7, then I would bite on that. All right, a few more stats before we move on from this game. Mizzou, as a home underdog under Eli Drinkwitz, 11 times, 8-3 against the spread with 7 outright wins. Pretty good at home since Jaden Daniels orchestrated that fantastic late comeback at Mizzou his senior year. Missouri has won 15 home games in a row. And dating back to last year, whether home, away, or neutral, this team's on an 8-game winning streak. Prabula, 75.9% completion percentage, 1,203 passing yards, 9-3 TDI&T ratio. Also has 3 rushing touchdowns. Ahmad Hardy, 9 rushing touchdowns, 730 yards, 7.1 yards per carry average. If you're looking at the Brett Norfleet anytime touchdown prop, they look for him in the red zone. That's Mizzou's tight end. And he has 4 of his, actually he's got 20 catches. So, but he has 4 touchdown catches, and his anytime touchdown is plus 260. That's not as generous as I sort of hoped it would be. And Bama as a road favorite under DeBoer, 2-4, not just against the spread, 2-4 straight up as a road favorite. So obviously that doesn't count the Georgia game that they just won. They were road underdog. Okie dokie. Let's go to Washington State and Ole Miss. This is SEC Network, 12:45 p.m. Eastern, and Washington State 3-2 straight up, 2-3 ATS, and they have had 2 weeks, but so has Ole Miss to prepare. But Wazoo's losses, 59-10 at North Texas and 59-24 at home to Washington. They won 20-3 at a struggling Colorado State program. They actually beat San Diego State in week 2, 36-13 at home. And San Diego State is kind of, I think that's their only loss. They're kind of having a little revival type season. But FanDuel currently has, goodness.
33.5.
This might take a second. All right, here we go. Almost.
33.5.
33.5 at a minus 105 price. If you like Wazoo to pull the upset, 35-1 odds. The total's 58.5 in the first quarter. Lane Kiffin and company, minus 7.5, minus 106 in the first half, minus 19.5, and minus 118. Your thoughts?
The only number you threw out there that even remotely interests me is Ole Miss in the first half, as long as it's under 21. This is a prime, even with the off week. This feels like a very close to the vest, because really the only way I would play anything in this game is Ole Miss to run away early and then completely shut it down. Because with a trip looming to Athens on the horizon in a game that is much bigger, if this thing, look, Ole Miss has got athletes that I can't endorse taking the points with Washington State because it's such a mismatch, and it could get away from them even with Ole Miss not trying super hard. But look, if this game's 35-10 at halftime and ends 38-13, that wouldn't shock me.
All right, excuse me, Ole Miss Wazoo is a hard pass for me. So let's move on. Oklahoma, Texas, Red River game. FanDuel currently has Texas minus 1.5, minus 105 price. They're minus 114 on the money line. The total is 43.5, and we have actually, but with that tight line, we don't even really. Actually, I don't even see the first half and first quarter lines, but I mean, they're just going to be either one or a half point, um, what have you. We don't know about Mateer. The line movement tells us he's got a pretty good shot, and that Heisman odds adjustment we spoke of early says he might be in action. We'll see. What do you think?
Well, what I think and what I see are two different things. I mean, reports have, of course, Mateer is doing everything in his power to try to convince the coaching staff he's ready to play because it would probably be his only chance to play in this rivalry game. And the odds moving greatly, especially Mateer and Heisman numbers, feel like he's only going to miss the Kent State game. The first half spread I see, Brian, is the same as the game spread. It's
Right.
Oklahoma plus 1.5. So,
Right.
But I can make a hard argument that unless Mateer is 100% healthy, they got to realize about the marathon, not the sprint, regardless of the rivalry vitriol, because even if you lose this game, as frustrating as it would be for the fan base, when the college football playoff positioning starts and everybody starts campaigning, if Oklahoma's got a couple of losses with that schedule and one of them's to Texas with a backup quarterback, I mean, that's the definition of mulligan in today's college football realm.
Absolutely.
But no, I actually expect him to play. And I'm sorry, with that offensive line, and I think I think Oklahoma's got the best defense in the country. And they showed, granted it was at home, they showed against Auburn what that front seven does to mediocre offensive lines. And by sacking Jackson Arnold 9 times, some say 10 times, one of them may have been a run, tackle for loss, who knows. But still, it's quite telling to me the over-under inching its way towards 42 is a low number for a couple of teams that have potential future NFL quarterbacks.
And we got the over on the low number for Texas and Florida rather easily last week. That was a similarly low number. I will mention, and I don't know, so it'll be 17 days on Saturday since he had surgery, and I don't know how similar Jared Goff's injury was to Mateer, but I have read multiple times since this Mateer injury news that that Goff played 12 days later. Now, I don't know if the NFL remedies concoctions, if you will, are as strong as the Brady Cook like concoctions at the collegiate level. But
you have to expect they will be. You think Oklahoma? You don't think they've got bull semen up there to pump into that dude?
I mean, I guess they're pretty close. So I don't want to call out the Detroit medical staff, but whatever they were pumping into Goff, he was good to go. And so we shall see. I'm kind of thinking he's going to play as well, but I don't know how he's going to play. Or I mean, I don't know how effectively, I should say. I don't know how effective he's going to play. Excuse me. So this game's a pass, but I would love to get involved live once I see how he's playing. But I mean, I don't think people should just say Texas is trash. I think that would be an overreaction from last weekend. What about you?
I do too, but I don't think this line has overreacted a great deal.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, I don't think people just should assume Texas is trash. Texas is very capable of still getting hot and playing well this year.
I will be on this game, but I'm going to take Oklahoma on the money line with plus money to win outright.
Okie dokie. Jay likes the Sooners and I'm a pass, but might get involved. Might get involved live. All right, let's go. Arkansas at Tennessee. This is 4:15 p.m. Eastern. This is the SEC network. This is the debut of the former head hog, who, by the way, had it absolutely rolling in his first tenure there. In fact, he went 26-6 straight up in his last 32 games as the head hog. The 2011 year, when they went 11-2, their only losses at top-ranked LSU and at third-ranked Bama, who ended up playing in New Orleans in the BCS title game in January of 2012. I remember because I was there. Here, you ready for this stat? That's gonna surprise the heck out of you. If somebody had a winning streak in this rivalry going, who would you think the well, you remember last year, so
No, I
Arkansas.
remember last year, Arkansas's won 4 of the last 5.
No, Arkansas's run 4 in a row and 5 of the last 6, both straight up and against the spread, including a 19-14 win as a 14-point home underdog last year. All right, some stats on the totals. Overs 4-1 for Arkansas. Over 5-0 for the Vols. Combined scores of 71, 89, 85, 80, and 75, which reminds me I haven't even given you the spread yet. Tennessee at FanDuel, of course, is 12.5-point favorite, minus 450 on the money line, plus 340 if you like the Hogs. The total is 68 and a half in the first quarter. The Vols are minus 3.5. In the first half, they are minus 7.5 at half juice. And I have a play on this game that I'll explain after we get your take. But before that, as a road favorite, or I'm sorry, a home favorite under Josh Heupel, Tennessee 16-9 against the spread. As a road underdog since the start of 2015, the Razorbacks 20-12-1 ATS as a road dog.
The my play on this one's a little outside the box. You may have to do a little digging on your FanDuel account. I'm taking over 34.5 in the first half. Josh Heupel is as good as anybody in the country with his opening script. I mean, he was up 21-0 in the first quarter on Georgia. Add to that fact, with 2 weeks to prepare and Bobby Petrino wanting to put his best foot forward for this job, I have to believe he's going to pull out every stop, especially early, to be competitive in what would be just a checkmark victory in his resume attempt to be a candidate for this, even at the age of 64. So I think both offenses are going to run up and down the field, especially early Saturday in Knoxville.
Yeah, I'm not against playing over 68.5, but that is a very, very high total. So here's how I'm going to attack it. I'm going to go with Tennessee's team total over. Currently at FanDuel, it's 41.5 at a minus 108 price. And they
I like that
are.
call too, Brian. I like that call too because
What's the unit we don't trust? We don't trust Arkansas's defense.
100%. And
We love Arkansas. Go ahead.
We also know Tennessee makes a whole lot of plays behind the line of scrimmage, which can be sacks, fumbles, which can be turnovers, which also leads to points.
And the Vols are number 1 in the nation in scoring, 51 points per game. They're number 5 in passing yards. They're number 9 in total yards. Aguilar's 1,459 passing yards are second in the SEC, 17th in the nation. Arkansas's defense, number 110 out of 136 FBS teams in scoring D, giving up 30 points per game. However, if we eliminate the Arkansas State and the Alabama A&M games, they've actually given up 43 points per game against Memphis, Ole Miss, and Notre Dame. And if that was their overall, That would rank 135 out of 136. Trivia question for you. Who was the quarterback in the Vols' last win over Arkansas, and what famous NFL players had interceptions in that game for the Vols? That's a tough one. That's a tough trivia. Maybe you'll get one of the defenders right. You want a hint?
Was Eric Berry one of the defenders?
He had 2 picks for 98 return yards in that game.
And then the quarterback we're talking about, what were we talking about, 19?
07.
No, before that.
No, 07.
Oh, was that a Clausen?
Close. It was after Clausen. Shortly after Clausen. I know he used to do some radio in Knoxville. Maybe he still does.
Oh, Eric Ainge.
Yep. And the other interception guy, former head coach in the NFL.
Jerry Glanville.
Gerard Mayo.
Oh, okay.
You did good though. You did pretty good on that. Way to go. Visor tip. That's a visor tip. Before we escape or move on from this game, if we had to pick it with the spread, if we had to, I ain't messing with it because I think Petrino is going to have his ball plays ready this week. I'm
laying the 2 touchdowns. Tennessee's got too many dudes.
Yeah.
If I had to play aside, because now it's dipping. I saw it 13.5, 14 earlier this week. It's 12.5.
Yeah.
Looking on Wednesday at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
But I feel more comfortable betting on points. Look, man, that Arkansas defense is bad.
Real bad. Really bad. Yeah, I love this team total on the Vols. Let me give a hat tip to the late, great Smoking Dave Koken, who had a theory, regardless of the sport. Anytime you got an interim coach taking over the first game, you go with the interim coach's team. And I don't have the numbers, but over the long haul, I think it's been really successful. I would probably go Arkansas if I had to pick it, but I don't. So we move on to Florida at Texas A&M, 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. And the Gators 2-3, both straight up and ATS. A&M 5-0 straight up, 2-3 ATS. But let me get the spread. That would help our cause here. All righty. We have the Aggies currently at FanDuel -7.5 at a -102 price. You got to lay double juice -120 on the Gators +7 in the hook. Gators +220 on the money line. The total is 47.5 in the first quarter. A&M is -1.5 in the first half. A&M is -4.5 at even money. Your thoughts?
There's so many question marks about this game, but I think Texas A&M at home, Kyle Field may be the most underrated. I mean, you like to talk about the swamp. I like to talk about Jordan-Hare. Everybody feels like we all know how big Neyland is. We all know that until last Saturday, Georgia had won 33 in a row at home. Kyle Field is a bear to go play in, especially at night, man. A lot of emotional angst spent last week. For the Gators, any chance that Texas A&M if Florida had limped in there with 3 or 4 straight losses, or how many ever it would have been, that's a whole different kettle of fish. Texas A&M's got monster goals in front of them. I like the first half line better than I like the 7.5, just because of going north of protecting against the backdoor cover. So I expect a fast A&M start. I expect this to be a good football game, though. It's 2 very good defenses But I think even with your boy Dallas Wilson showing out last week, I think the Aggies are better.
I think the Aggies are ready to lose a game. I think they're gonna. I think Florida wins outright. I think the night, big crowd factor. I mean, Florida's already played at LSU and at Miami at night this year. One thing I did not point out from the Texas game that I should have, because A&M likes to run the ball a lot. Oh, and by the way, Le'Veon Moss is a little banged up. I don't know that really matters since they've got Reuben Owens and Amari Daniels both have tons of experience, and they got a pretty good little freshman that's getting a little bit of playing time as well. So I mean, they're like 4 or 5 deep in the backfield. I don't think that really matters a ton. But Florida held Texas to 52 rushing yards on 26 attempts last week. That's 2.0 yards per rush. Now the swamp factor may have, helped that out, but I want to point out even further, Arch was by far the leading rusher. The Texas running backs, just their rushing, 11 carries for 15 yards. So Florida is playing some good run D. I think Lagway has put his struggles behind him. I don't know if this puts more pressure on him or makes him want to perform even better, but he's going to have a lot of cousins in the stands. He grew up really close to College Station. I don't know exactly how close, but I'm definitely way less than an hour. And Elko as a home favorite, only 3-7 against the spread. So, yeah, I like the Gators.
You like the Gators with the points or on the money line?
Well, mostly with the points, but just a touch on the money line as well. And what you think on that?
No, if I can completely see 7.5. I mean, I don't think Florida wins a football game, but do I expect it to be a pretty hard fought number? Absolutely. But a lot of those stats last week against Texas, this Texas A&M offensive line is a hell of a lot better than the Texas offensive line.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All righty. Let's go. Georgia at Auburn. The South's oldest rivalry. ABC, 7:30 p.m. And FanDuel is currently showing Georgia is a 3.5-point favorite. UGA minus 172 on the money line. The total is 45.5. And first quarter, dogs minus 1.5 plus 120. First half, dogs minus 1.5 flat, minus 110. Either way, Auburn would have won this game 2 years ago, but Carson Beck started force-feeding Brock Bowers in the late third, early fourth, and that's exactly what Jackson Arnold needs to do to Cam Coleman in this game. The last 8, Georgia has won over Auburn, 6-2 ATS in those 8. And tell me about that streak going back further, 17-3, correct?
17-3 in the last 20 meetings. And those 3 Auburn wins, one included some dude named Cam Newton. Cam Newton I think they're retiring his jersey Saturday, but sadly he will not be putting on the number 2 because good Lord, everyone knows that Auburn could use him. One of those 3 was the prayer and Jordan Hare of the tip ball that Ricardo Lewis ran underneath. And then the other one was the Kerryon Johnson game in 2017. And then those 2 teams, Auburn and Georgia, met in the SEC championship later that year. And
without
Georgia
Johnson.
Yeah, if Johnson had played, I think Auburn would have.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say they would have won the football game, but it'd have been a hell of a lot closer.
Go ahead.
The number here, I think, is eye-popping for a lot of folks. Not that the road team's favored, but that it's so short considering Georgia's top 10 nationally and Auburn's on a 2-game losing streak. Auburn had a bye last week. I don't know. And of course, in his tragically predictable lip service, Hugh Freeze said they're going to reevaluate the offense during the bye week. Well, damn it, Hugh. You should have been reevaluating the offense all offseason. But it is this is not the same Georgia defense. I mean, his front seven has been littered with NFL dudes for years. And Georgia's outside the top 100 in tackles for loss, and they're 116th nationally in sacks. And we know that Auburn's offensive woes have been generated by inabilities to block up front. So, I mean, the give and take here is, I mean, to spin the cliche, it is the resistible force against the movable object. And so I have high hopes because I'm an Auburn graduate, but I've had my heart broken so many times in this game over the last 2 decades. I can't advise anybody to jump into the pit of Auburn misery that I currently swim in on a weekly basis. So, I mean, 3.5 is a great number. Visor tip to the FanDuel folks, because can I see it being a field goal game? Yes. Do I see it being a field goal loss? Yes. So, thank you, Brian. Thank you for your sympathy and your compassion and all things.
Sorry. Okay, so a few more stats. As a road favorite under Kirby, Georgia 20-14 against the spread. As a home underdog under Hugh, 3-1 against the spread for Auburn. Now, I said Auburn was going to win at least the Georgia or Alabama game at home, and maybe both back in the summer. I still stick by that. And I am going to call for the outright upset, but on this show, we talk about our bets. I'm in the same position with Auburn as I am with Missouri. 3.5 is just not enough for me, but I want to bet Auburn. I do want to be on Auburn. I just want a better number. And so just like the Missouri game, if live or halftime presents itself where I can get Auburn +6 or hopefully 7 or more, then I will get on Auburn. Now, for conversation purposes, I believe in Jordan-Hare magic. I've seen Damon Duval make 4 field goals in 40-mile-an-hour winds to beat me before. I've seen what did you call that game earlier? The miracle, the
prayer in Jordan-Hare.
The prayer in Jordan-Hare. I saw that wild ass stuff. I've seen crazy stuff happen at this venue as we have. I got a feeling we're going to see some crazy stuff at this venue. But again, from a betting standpoint, I need more than 3.5. But and back to what you were saying, this ain't the same Georgia defense. This ain't the same Georgia anything we've been used to. Now, they're well coached. They have talent. They may keep getting better. But there's no reason Auburn won't be very much in this football game, just like they were at A&M and at Oklahoma. Yeah, so there you go. I want to bet Auburn live or at halftime. Okay, moving on. Last game, South Carolina at LSU, and this is 7:45 p.m. SEC Network. And wait, is this the game I previewed with Chris?
Yes.
It sure is. Yep. So I got all my notes right here. LSU 4-1 straight up, 2-3 ATS. South Carolina 3-2 straight up, and ATS. And both teams are off of the open date. Let me get you the FanDuel spread, and here we go. We've got LSU at 8.5, Carolina +260 to win outright. The total is 44.5. LSU in the first quarter is -2.5. In the first half, they are -5.5. And LSU is 18-2-1 in the all-time series or all-time rivalry, and they have won 8 in a row, and they have not been beaten by the Gamecocks since '94. There was a tie in '95. As a at home straight up under Kelly, LSU's 22-2 straight up. As a home fave under Kelly, the Tigers are 12-7-1 ATS, and as a road dog under Beamer, South Carolina's 9-6 ATS, but as just 20 road games straight up, they're 8-12. All right. Well, I'll let you go ahead.
Man, two teams that I think we all expected more out of, honestly. And another hard-fought SEC contest with a total under 45. The difference here, Brian, is even 3 weeks ago, we may have thought both of these guys were going to be top 10 quarterbacks drafted in round 1. And the total's still under 45. If I had to play this, I'm actually playing over. You've got a bye week with unhappy fan bases trying to figure something out. You've got an elite level kick return game for South Carolina and a defense that has been unbelievably opportunistic that allows you the opportunity to potentially count on non-offensive touchdowns. I mean, South Carolina through 5 games only has 10 offensive touchdowns.
How many? I know they've got 3 special teams touchdowns. They've got 2 or 3 defensive too, don't they?
Yeah, I think they've got 6 non-offensive touchdowns.
Okay, so that'd be 3. Yeah. All right. Kind of like Lagway.
That total just seems too low to me.
No, I'm with you on that. I'm not saying I'm going to play it, but it seems a little low to me as well, especially because of this. Well, first off, actually, I'm not going to say that because South Carolina had all those turnovers that helped them get to 35 against Kentucky, or they created turnovers. But I think like Lagway having 2 weeks to prepare. Nuss has not been healthy with whatever abdominal or whatever it is. I think he's going to be more healthy. So therefore, I think he's going to play better. I don't want to lay the 8.5, but I like LSU a lot in a teaser or money line parlay this week. And some teams that you could potentially pair, UNLV is one of them, who are -6 at home to Air Force, I believe it is. By the way, Mully's undefeated. How about that? No, I'm sorry. It is not. Oh, yeah, it is Air Force at home. Yeah. So potential dance partner with UNLV. And I know I had some other teams that I liked besides LSU, but I'm blanking on them at the moment. But yeah, I think LSU will play better. I think they'll win. I don't know if they'll cover. And I think Nuss and I think Sellers will play better as well. All righty. Let's get to some other picks and other items. What you got? Who you like this weekend?
Well, I do like Oklahoma, and I know we covered that. I like Maryland in the points against Nebraska. I think Michigan delivers against USC. No matter how inspired USC may be playing for Mark Sanchez. This weekend, and I'm trying to think of seems like there's one other college game. Oh, I do need to mention this. Follow Brian on Twitter because he does a better job putting out his picks. But people, on this Wednesday night of this week, we're filming on Wednesday, October 8th. It starts a 49 straight day run where we can watch and bet on football.
Yeah.
From now till the Wednesday of Thanksgiving week.
Wait,
we've got football on somewhere.
We got Tuesday action already? I feel like it normally doesn't start this early.
You don't think they met the demand of the exploding legalized gambling market? Of course they did.
I like it. I feel like it used to start after the World Series ended. But anyway. All right. First off, I need to tell you about our HOF app. Smart bettors rely on data. HOF hands you powerful analytics at your fingertips to tilt the odds in your favor, improve your chances of winning using historical data, matchup grades, trends, and player performance insights. HOF was created by Ivy League geeks to let everyday fans bet smarter. For a limited time only, our listeners not only get a 7-day free trial, but they also get 50% off their first month when they use code SEC16 at checkout. Just download the HOF app on iOS or Android, enter code SEC16, and you're all set. Also, ROKFORM, the world's strongest magnetic phone case, extreme protection, super strong magnets, rock lock, secure mounting. September is the busiest month of the year with a new iPhone release, SEC25 for 25% off. And finally, our friends at HOVI Dry Goods, your new favorite hat. Look no further than HOVI hats for high quality head wear with a great fit and unique designs. Bad beat for 15% off. That's got to be Vandy this week, right?
No, it's just bad beat moving forward.
Bad beat, all caps, but our bad beat of the week was definitely definitely yes. Vandy. All right, I like the Bucks -3 at home to the injury-riddled Niners, even though the Niners have rest advantage.
I can endorse that. There's actually a few NFL games. I did a little research this week because I know I had to get out of here last week. There are a few NFL games I like.
Now that Jaden's healthy, I'm back to the Commanders. I got -4. It's 4.5. I still like it. That's Monday night at home to the Bears, his fellow 2024 NFL draft lesser than, who I did. Did you endorse Jaden Daniels going #1 in that draft way ahead of Caleb?
Yes.
Caleb?
Yes.
So did I. I mean, that was easy pickings. Okay, I know Patrick Mahomes has that great stat. I know the Lions corners are banged up, but the Lions are so much better. I think I'm just betting Lions every week from now on.
Lions may also be in a team total type of territory because other than that season opener, they're averaging like 43 a game.
Yes, and a short week for the Chiefs.
I like the Lions, and I also really liked your call, your first one with the 49ers are just beleaguered with a litany of meaningful injuries. And I'll add you one more. And you may want to wait on it because it's starting to inch up. But if the total in an NFL game is at 37.5, and you can get the underdog at 5.5, and I'm talking about the Cleveland Browns against a Pittsburgh team that is not overly impressive. But I like the Browns and the points in what Vegas is viewing as a 21-17 game either way.
I will say this. Steelers are off an open date, and Cleveland had to come back from London.
I completely understand, and which means, and especially if you can let that thing matriculate closer to a touchdown. But
I'll also say this though, Quinshon Judkins is balling for the Browns, and Dylan Gabriel looked pretty good last week.
Absolutely, he did.
In fact, I felt very fortunate to get a win and cover with the Vikings, and I was pressing it with some live bets to start my day to make up for my Vandy and some other stuff.
So I went to early church and then went and coached youth softball as you are just pounding your FanDuel account at 10:30 in the morning on a Sunday trying not to get in an NFL hole.
Earlier than 10:30. It was
Okay.
earlier. It was
Okay.
earlier than 10:30.
Did you have a Budweiser next to you?
No, not till I got to the bar at noon. So I
Nice
like
restraint, Brian. Nice restraint.
right. I think Denver is a good tease or money line team. Oh, and Jackson Dart rushing yards prop over. I've seen it 35.5, 37.5 range. Oh, and back to college. I've looked and I couldn't find Brendan Sorsby or Haynes King rushing yards, but y'all know the drill with that. Over. And I hate Buffalo.
Hey, I think Tech's we may need to look this up, and I know we're running longer than normal.
I think Tech's a little overvalued this week. I think that line's a little high, but I'm not going against them. What were you going to say?
Well, I was going to say you can still get Georgia Tech at plus 285 to make the playoff. I think there's a real chance they go 11-0 until they play Georgia.
Right, and then who's going to beat them in the ACC championship game? Not SMU.
Miami.
Oh gosh, I knew I was forgetting somebody. Duh, my fault. Yeah, I'm not against that. I'm not against that. So anyway, back to NFL. I think Denver and Indianapolis. Indianapolis at home to Arizona. Denver -7 to the Jets over in Europe somewhere. I think Denver, Indy are good tease or money line parlay teams. Maybe put them in with Washington, and that's Monday night, and you might have a little hedge situation if you want to take Chicago plus the points. Man, I wish Buffalo would get down to 3, and I would hammer them in bounce back mode at the Falcons. When's the last time the Falcons won Monday night? Oh, never mind. Eagles last year.
Hey, let me ask you, though. You mentioned one that I think needs to be a conversation. Shouldn't we be hammering the Colts at 6.5, considering what the Cardinals had to deal with this week with their coach, putting hands on a player, having to come almost the entire way across the country for a nooner Central Time?
That was one of the most inexplicable outright losses I've seen in a long time.
How many people survivor pool did that cripple?
200 and something in mine, but out in Vegas in the Circa contest, I have no idea. A lot. I was 12 for 12 with my survivor entries going into last week. I lost 4 on the Rams, which never should have happened. I mean, the fumble at the goal line, the drop interception before the Niners field goal. There was something else crazy happened in regulation. Arizona, the interception fumble for touchdown, the 70-yard touchdown, he does the Deshaun Jackson. And anyway, yeah. But actually, I'm not complaining. So I've lost 7 of my 12. Or no, wait. I feel like anyway, I have 4 left. Yeah, so I lost 8. But we're down to 351 from 1,441. So I'm actually okay with Arizona losing, I think. All right. You got any baseball?
Riding the Dodgers right now because they're finding ways to win.
All right, folks. We handled all our good friends at HOVI. We are sponsored by FanDuel. Have a great weekend of bets. Best of luck, and we will talk to you next week. We're over and out.